Today, we're going to talk about a unique approach to weight loss that it's not another diet or some fancy and exhausting workout. It's actually something that can not only benefit the way you approach weight loss, but other parts of your life. And really just helps you get out of this kind of hamster wheel approach, right? You are constantly chasing something and never getting anywhere. Well, I'm Dr. Lori Marbus. I am a board certified family and lifestyle medicine physician. And if you're new here, thank you for joining me, and I hope you learned something today. And if you're coming back, thanks again for coming back and spending time with me. And so today's approach really is speaking to mindfulness. And I know it seems like it's almost being overused word, but this mindfulness has really literally changed my life. And not in the sense of necessarily weight loss, but just the peace and joy that I see in everyday moments. And the piece about mindfulness that comes is understanding that we don't have to be worried about the future if we're living in the current state, right? It's called the observer effect. For example, you can become mindful and in the moment by just observing your breath, right? Because you can't be thinking about something else and be observing something mindfully in the present moment. And so what that does, that actually allows you to have a moment of space, right? There's space between whatever those worrying thoughts were. Right? It allows that worry and stress and emotions to kind of dissipate and dissolve. And mindfulness is like a muscle. The more you use it, even in mundane things like cutting vegetables or going for a walk, it gets stronger. And before you know it, your whole approach to life becomes much more mindful. But what does this look like in the approach to eating, and what is the scientific evidence? Well, let me pull up my notes here. Really, I want to talk also about menopause, right? So there's a couple of things that I want to point out. There's three different points to the evidence in that you might actually find this helpful. And I also have a free masterclass I'll be mentioning below that I even dive deeper into it, how you can make mindfulness a muscle that literally will change your life. And so, first of all, a mindful approach to managing menopause and weight loss can really offer those significant benefits, right? Because we're now going to be promoting intentional actions and reducing these reactive behaviors, right? Like I said, it's like we're done chasing the shiny object that we never get anywhere. We're actually going to be taking inventory of what's going on inside and in the current moment, and what can we do in this moment to make a difference in our lives now and for the future. And so really you'll see the evidence is mindful eating and weight loss interactions can lead to quite a significant improvement with weight loss and health markers. There was a study on postmenopausal women, obese women, that showed that those who participated in a mindful eating program experienced not only reductions in weight, but body mass index and waist to hip ratios compared to a control group back in 2017. And why is this important? So if you think about, remember, I've spoken about many times, if you're new here, you can check out all sorts of videos on inflammation and central obesity, different things. But what's important about that, waist to hip ratio is we want to decrease the amount of visceral fat, or the fat that's being stored in our abdominal area, because it's pro-inflammatory, increases our risk for things like type 2 diabetes and heart disease, promotes cancer and other things that, well, we just don't want anything to do with. And the thing that happens with menopause, because I'll be 54 in October, things shift, right? And the hormones shift, and you can't eat the way you did, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And it's a crazy thing, right? There's an alien that has come in and started inhabiting this thing that you thought was your body, but apparently not. And so what's happening here is when you become more mindful of the approach to this menopause, you start taking back control. You begin to master your menopause journey. Even though it's scary and it's frustrating, the reality of the situation is if we accept it, right? We accept that our bodies are changing and not resist it or get depressed about it, but just approach this in a more practical way, and being understanding that, yes, things are shifting, and start looking for answers. I think the answers that maybe were in front of you that you didn't see before because we were so resistant and just want things to go back to the way they were, suddenly appear, and you're like, oh, why didn't I see that before? Why didn't that answer present itself before? Well, we didn't have our eyes open. We weren't ready to receive it. And I know that sounds crazy, but it actually works. And again, the mindfulness, it seems like this vague concept, but it's actually a very viable thing that it's a state of being that you can literally be in most of the day and then becomes most like almost all day. Um, but anyway, I move on. Next is that quality of life and menopausal symptoms. Mindfulness based interventions have shown to improve the quality of life and reduce menopausal symptoms like anxiety, depression, and hot flashes. I did an interview with Ellen Langer, who is called the mother of mindfulness. And she said, I had one hot flash when I was going through menopause. I was aware of it and mindful of it, and I never had another one. And so I tried this approach. It didn't necessarily work for me, but it might work for you. But I do note that I'm aware of triggers that might set off a hot flash, or maybe I'm aware of these discontent feelings and moodiness that maybe I was having as I was going through this menopausal change. And that alone shifts your behavior, right? Because you now are mindful of what's going on. And again, just not feeling the emotions and just reacting with the emotions, stepping into the emotions and being carried away, or the thoughts and the negative talk and chatter that goes on in our heads. That impact, that negative, constant emotion it just has a negative impact on the quality of our lives, our relationships. When you become more mindful of it and you can appreciate it, things start shifting, right? You start seeing things differently. Like I said, it's almost like you go shopping for a car, right? You're looking for, let's say, a Volkswagen Bug, and you're like, yeah, this is a cute little bug. It'll be fun, probably fuel efficient. It's my practical mind stepping in. But suddenly, there are Volkswagen bugs everywhere. Maybe you didn't ever notice them before, but now they're just everywhere. What is happening is we become mindful, right? We're using the power of the 3 pound organ between our ears to our benefit, right? The brain's like, oh, we need to pay attention to Volkswagen bugs. Okay, we'll pay attention to Volkswagen bugs. Well, what if we start paying attention to things that we're grateful for, right? Or if we start utilizing the small things, not doesn't have to be anything, these huge things, like we're thankful for the sunlight as it streams through the light in your living room, or you're thankful for someone who smiled at you today, someone who opened the door for you on your way to work or to your favorite coffee shop. Again, this could be as simple as you're just thankful that you're alive today and able to get up and live another day in this wonderful world. So again, that's one approach. Finally, you get the number 3 is behavioral and emotional regulation. So mindfulness practice really help individuals become aware of, like I mentioned, the thoughts and their emotions and behaviors, really promoting healthier choices and reducing emotional eating. And that can lead to better weight management and overall health. Interesting studies showed that if you eat something healthy like an apple, before you go to the store, you make 40% of your choices more healthy. It makes sense, right? Because we start the act of being healthy by eating something that we can say is healthy, right? An apple, a piece of fruit, a vegetable, doesn't matter. We are going to go into a place, and because that's now on our mind, we're more mindful of the things that we're actually doing. And another tidbit there is you're not walking into the store hungry, right? And so we tend to make impulse choices when we're hungry, and we see all these things on the shelves made to get our attention and draw us in to eat them, these ultra processed high calorie foods that are inflammatory causing and just worsen any symptom that you could have of menopause and significant weight gain as well that comes along with it. So those are the 3 things I think you'll find helpful, is just mindful eating and weight loss, quality of life and menopausal symptoms, behavior and emotional regulation. And so what are some of the approaches is, just being very aware, starting with that awareness and being intentional in your day. And something that you could do that might be helpful, especially first thing in the morning, is get up maybe 10 minutes earlier. I know it seems like a lot, but 10 minutes earlier, and just start writing, right? Just do a brain dump every morning, maybe 3 pages of just whatever you can think of. Doesn't matter what it is. Nobody else is going to read it. It's just stream of consciousness. And you just allow that to go. And I think that what that allows is you start connecting to that more creative element within you, right? And you're releasing all the worries and chatters. And yeah, there might be some judgmental factor going on here. Just ignore it. It doesn't matter. That other entity, that negative voice, will start subsiding the more you do it. And just make it a practice every single morning. And so I think the writing element is so huge, and there's absolutely, at least I think there's close to 200 papers supporting utilizing journaling and writing, like the stream of consciousness, and seeing recovery from trauma, being able to work out anxiety and depression. And it is very, very helpful. Like I said, you don't have to read it. You're not writing it for anyone else. So then there's not this, some type of role that you're playing when you write it. You're not writing it for judgment or seeking approval. You're just doing it for yourself. But I hope you found that a little bit helpful. But I do have more. I have an entire framework that I developed that I've worked with patients and myself in approach to weight loss, but other things as well. It's in a really helpful approach. Like I said, you can utilize it in many different ways. And if you'd like to learn more about it, I have a free masterclass. It's called the 5 Steps to Master Your Metabolism and Lose Weight. So if you are menopausal woman and you're struggling to lose weight, this is the class for you. And I also go over the 4 biggest mistakes that people make on their weight loss journey, having helped thousands of patients over the course of over 20 years as a physician. And I'm a board certified lifestyle medicine physician. I really have a unique place because I've seen so many people come to me with these problems, and I see what's working for them. And I want to share that with you. So check it out. I'm super excited to have offered this for you. And yeah, so have a great weekend, everyone. And as always, I'm so grateful for you today. You are one of my things that I am grateful for. So I am always sending you love, joy, and abundance, because I cannot receive what I don't have. So I'm giving that to you. So we can all give it. So give more of way of that love, abundance, and kindness and joy and wishes of healing for those, because I'm sending it to you, and you will get it more in return. That I can guarantee. And it may not seem like it in the beginning. You don't have to believe it. It just will happen. So thanks again, everyone, and have a beautiful and blessed rest of your day.